Welcome back once again to Viper Bites, presented by the Fantasy Points Media Group. And it is time to go to Duval County as we continue our series here on fantasy football assets for all 32 of the NFL franchise teams. Now, with the Jacksonville Jaguars, you've got some great young talent in the ranks here right now, starting at the running back position with Travis Etienne. Now, the expert consensus rankings have him as the RB16 heading into 2022. And it looks like the Jaguars will finally be able to see what they have in the 2021 25th overall selection. After sitting out an entire rookie season due to a torn ACL, the former Clemson Tiger appears to be ready to make the most of his opportunities. Adding to such opportunities is the fact that late in the season last year, backfield mate James Robinson suffered a ruptured Achilles, in which he's going to need a lot more time to recover than what maybe we are looking at here to start off the 2022 campaign. Prior to Etienne suffering that ACL injury last season, the Jaguars, they had plans for him in this offense as a pass catcher. And once in space, Etienne is as quick as they come. Every touch he gets has the potential to go the distance. Etienne gives me some serious Alvin Kamara vibes that are positive, not really the off-field kind of vibes, if you know what I'm saying here. Now, if he can withstand the pounding between the tackles, and that's going to be the question mark. We know the targets are going to be there in the passing game, as Trevor Lawrence checked down the ball more than any other quarterback in 2021. And when he checks down in 2022, what better person to check it down to than a former college teammate? Hey, that's called winning. Besides, Urban Meyer's no longer there, so anything is possible for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, speaking of Trevor Lawrence, if you're looking at a dynasty quarterback right now, the experts' consensus ranking has him as the QB 13. Now, despite only completing 59.6% of his passes as a rookie, Lawrence still threw for over 3,600 yards. In today's game, we are often looking for instant gratification from our rookie quarterbacks, and if it's not there, we seem to unfairly label them as a bust. Lawrence will need to show some improvement in 2022 in order to avoid that kind of label, and avoiding turnovers would go a long way in that. In 2021, Lawrence threw 17 interceptions versus only 12 touchdowns. Not exactly what you would hope for in a former number one overall selection. Now, a bad rookie year is not necessarily a death sentence. Look no further than players such as Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck. Manning threw 28 interceptions while completing just 56.7% of his passes for 3,739 yards in his rookie season, while Andrew Luck, he completed only 54.1% of his passes while throwing 18 interceptions. Everything that you believed was Lawrence prior to his rookie campaign, it's still there. Look for him to bounce back in 2022 and trend upward for years to come. One of those reasons that we're high on players such as Trevor Lawrence is because his passing game may have gotten a little bit better here in the offseason with the addition of Christian Kirk. Marvin Jones, he is as reliable as he comes, but he's not getting any younger. Kirk was brought over from Arizona, and he was paid as a number one wide receiver, so expect him to be featured in this offense, despite never posting 1,000 yards receiving in any of his seasons so far to date. Last season, Kirk stepped up when DeAndre Hopkins was out of the lineup, averaging 12.8 yards per reception, drawing 103 targets. At 25 years of age, Kirk has plenty of time to make good on that new contract and has plenty of experience and teachings to draw from his experience of learning from players such as Larry Fitzgerald, A.J. Green, DeAndre Hopkins. Now, Laviska Shenault last season saw 100 targets and a 16.4% target share, while Marvin Jones, 120 targets and 19.9% target share. You can expect a good portion of all that to head Christian Kirk's way. If you are into numbers, Kirk's DVOA, that's the defense adjusted value over average, was 23.9% in the slot on 81 targets and 27.7% when lining up outside. Now, I talked about that ruptured Achilles tendon for James Robinson. I'm not out on James Robinson yet. He is still a pretty good back. He's still pretty young when all is said and done. I'm almost certain, though, that the 2022 season is going to be a fantasy write-off for Robinson as he continues that uphill battle to recover from that Achilles injury. I am expecting Robinson to be back at some point, but it's going to likely be in a secondary role to kind of relieve some of the pounding that Etienne is going to take early on in the season there. If Robinson makes it back on the field this year, we have a pretty good idea of what that recovery is going to look like as we kind of draw a little bit of comparison to Cam Akers and what he was able to do last season. Akers saw his productivity drop, which was expected. He would see 3 targets per game, hauling in roughly 2 passes per contest, averaging 7.1 yards per reception to go along with 2.2 yards per carry. Good news is Robinson, he's still only 23. I mentioned he's still young. That's why he's still a fantasy asset at this point. We're still going to have that ability to follow what Cam Akers does this season, next season, and kind of draw that line with James Robinson, see if James Robinson can kind of lock in step with Cam Akers and those expectations as they both continue to progress from those Achilles injuries. Now, finally here for Jacksonville, let's talk about some IDP. We could have gone a couple different ways here. We could have gone with Foye Oluokun there. He's currently going as the linebacker 8, the IDP 12 there per experts rankings. But I wanted to go with more of a high-end kind of guy. Let's go for some bang for your buck. Let's go for their edge rusher here right now. Let's go with Josh Allen. When you add a player like Trayvon Walker to the opposite end of him, that's going to help alleviate some of the pressure that Josh Allen has been facing. Josh Allen has been that guy for the Jaguars for quite some time now, and Walker, he should also open things up for Allen. In 40 career games, Allen has registered 20.5 sacks to go along with 128 tackles, 25 of which have gone for loss, and hitting the opposing quarterback 48 times. Jacksonville has been adding talent all over this defense, and with a little bit of help, Allen and his game are poised to take it to the next level. If you want to take your fantasy game to the next level, hey, fantasypoints.com, they have you covered. And the Dynasty Vipers, we have you covered with 10% off by using promo code Vipers22. Well, what else can you do? Make sure you are subscribed to the Vipers Network here. Turn on those notifications because, hey, when news breaks, when everything goes down, we got you covered here as well. And if you're listening to us on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, whatever podcasting platform that may be, take a moment and rate and review us, and we will see you next time. Take care.